all are fine. Today, students, I'll be teaching you from your first flight book, that is textbook in English for class 10. So let's start. So students, today I'll be teaching you the poetry that is A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. So students, before starting the explanation of the poetry, I would like to tell you about the very renowned prize-winning poet Leslie Norris. And first and foremost, I would like to tell you about his full name. That was George Leslie Norris. Yes, students, he was a prize-winning poet as an author also. And his publication Ransoms had won the Poetry Society's Alice Hunt Bartlett Prize in 1970. And students, he was born on 21st May 1921 at Merthyr Tydfil, UK, and he died on 6th April 2006 at Provo, Utah, US. He was a very, very renowned prize-winning poet. So let's start the explanation of the poetry. Students, this poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with a tiger in its natural habitat. Basically, the poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. So here, poet is describing about the pity, mournful situation of a tiger, students. Tiger is a ferocious animal, but still, students, he is caged. He is confined in a cage in a zoo. So here, tiger is not at all happy. Tiger is extremely angry. He takes slow steps within his cage in his bright stripes. You can see orange and black stripes of the tiger here. But he is very, very angry. He is not at all happy because his real place is not zoo. It's not cage. It is a natural habitat, that is jungle. Here, students, poet is sympathizing with the tiger. Poet is showing sympathy towards the tiger that is caged. He's saying that he should be there in the jungle, terrorizing the people there. Snarling around the houses at the jungle's edge. People should be terrified after hearing the growl of the tiger. Students, poet is also saying that rather than being in a cage, he should be lurking in shadow. Lurking is hiding and waiting for someone in a jungle and sliding through long grass. Sliding is slowly walking through the long grass so that he could grab his prey. He's also saying that he should wait for the prey near the water hole where plump deer pass. Plump meaning is fleshy deer. A healthy deer passes so that he could easily grab that deer. Deer is actually favorite prey of a tiger. So poet is showing sympathy like this, that rather than being in a cage, he should be there in a jungle near the water hole where plump deer pass so that he could easily grab it and eat it and enjoy the lavishing lunch and dinner in the jungle. Alright, because deer is a favorite prey of a tiger, I have already told you. So tigers love to eat deer, a healthy deer. That's why poet is sympathizing like this, that he should be there in the jungle, wait for the deer rather than being in a cage here in the zoo. Students, poet is also saying that the tiger should growl around houses at the jungle's edge, exposing his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the villagers rather than being in a cage. Fangs are long, sharp tooth of an animal, students, as you can see it in the picture. But the tiger is locked in a concrete cell. Concrete is the hard substance made from cement. He is locked in a cell and his strength is behind bars. He is stalking the length of his cage. He is ignoring the visitors. He is helpless. He cannot do anything. That is why he is quiet and he is very, very angry. He is angry. He is extremely angry, but he is not at all showing his anger because he knows he cannot do anything. He is helpless. Poet also describes that he hears the last voice at night, that is of the patrolling cars. Patrolling cars means that those cars that go round and round at regular times. At night time, police takes rounds. That's what noise this tiger listens at night while being confined in a cage. And he also describes that tiger stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars from his cage. He is helpless. He gazes with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars and then falls asleep. Students, like this, poet has described the pity, mournful situation of a tiger that is caged in a zoo, confined in a cage, though it's a ferocious animal. He takes very, very small steps and he is helpless. Hope this poetry, Tiger in the Zoo, summary is clear to all of you. Let's start the line by line explanation. Firstly, let me read the poetry fully for you, then I'll explain you line by line with proper meanings and poetic devices. So let's start. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. But he's locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Now, students, let me explain you the first stanza now. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Students, he here refers to tiger. He stalks in his vivid stripes. Stalks meaning is slowly walks in his vivid stripes, that is bright stripes. Stripes are orange and black in color, as you have seen earlier in the picture also. So he is walking slowly in his bright stripes, the few steps of his cage. He is taking some few steps within his cage only. On pads of velvet quiet. Velvet is a fabric that is very soft. So here the tiger is walking very slowly on his soft pads, very slowly. Quiet is slowly here. In his quiet rage. Rage is anger. It means that here tiger is very angry, extremely angry. Why, students? Because he is confined in a cage. Though it's a ferocious animal, his natural habitat is jungle, but here he is confined in a zoo, in a cage. That is why tiger is not at all happy. Tiger is extremely angry. This has been described here in the first stanza. Hope it is clear to you. Now let's move on to the next stanza. Here poet is saying, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Students, lurking meaning is hiding and waiting for someone. So here poet is saying that he should be lurking in shadow. He should be hiding and waiting for someone. Where? In a jungle. Sliding through long grass. Sliding means slowly walking. Okay, so slowly he should be walking through long grass. He should be hiding and waiting for someone near the water hole. Yes, students, near the water hole where plump deer pass. Plump meaning is fleshy deer, healthy deer. As I have told you earlier also, deer is the favorite prey of the tiger. So in this stanza, poet is describing that tiger should be lurking in shadow, should be waiting for someone in a jungle, slowly walking through the long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass, where plump deer comes to drink water to quench its thirst. So there the tiger should be there so that he could grab that tiger and eat it and satisfy his hunger. Hope this stanza is also clear to you. In next stanza, students, poet is saying he should be snarling around houses. Snarling means aggressive growl. He should be growling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Baring means exposing, showing his white fangs. Fangs is sharp tooth of an animal, just like canines. I have shown you in the picture also earlier in my summary explanation that he should be showing his white fangs, his claws. He should be terrorizing the villagers rather than being in a cage. He is showing sympathy here towards the tiger. The tiger is confined in a cage, but it is not the right place. He should be there snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. He should be exposing his white fangs, his claws, and he should be terrorizing the villagers rather than being in a cage. Now let's move on to the next stanza. Here poet is saying, but he is locked in a concrete cell. Concrete meaning is hard substance that is made from cement. So here the cell, the cage is made up of cement here. His strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Here the poet is describing the pity, mournful situation of a tiger that he cannot show his strength also. He is helpless. He is slowly walking the length of his cage and ignoring visitors because he is locked. He is locked in a concrete cell. He cannot do anything. He is helpless. He cannot show his strength as well. He is just a showpiece for the visitors. They are coming just for the sake of entertainment to see a tiger in a zoo and enjoy rather than being scared. Here people are coming, enjoying, and they are not at all scared of the tiger. Why? Because here the tiger is confined in a cage. Tiger cannot do anything. Alright students, let's move on to the next stanza. He hears the last voice at night. Here the last voice tiger is hearing. That is at night. What is that? Let's see. The patrolling car. Students, patrolling here meaning is to go round at regular times. Here it is not, here it does not mean that you are filling your car with petrol. No, not at all. Patrolling here means to go round at regular times. That the cars are taking rounds. The cops, the police is taking rounds. Okay, so he is hearing the last voice at night. That is the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Stares means looking, gazing continuously without blinking eyes at the stars, at the brilliant stars with his brilliant eyes. Hope this poetry is clear to you. That poet is showing the mournful situation of a tiger. Poet is describing the pity situation of a tiger, and he wants that the tiger should not be there in the cage. He should be in its natural habitat, that is jungle. Hope it is clear to you. Now I'll be explaining you the poetic devices. Students, in this poetry, 10 poetic devices have been used. Let me explain you. First and foremost, I will tell you about personification. Students, personification means that when we give human quality to non-human objects, alright, and or inanimate objects, that's called personification. When we give human quality to non-human and inanimate objects. So here, students, poet has given human quality to a tiger. He is describing tiger as, he is comparing tiger as a human. That is why pronoun he is used. Alright, as you can see in line number 1, the very first word, he stalks in his vivid stripes. So he here is referring to tiger. That is why here poetic device personification has been used. Hope it is clear to you now. Next poetic device that is used here is, that's called assonance. Students, see line number 1. Can you see line number 1, all of you? Line number 1, there is a repetition of a vowel sound. Alright. So whenever a vowel sound is being repeated, so that poetic device is called assonance. Just see line number 1, it is written in his vivid stripes. So here I. In also I is there, his also I is there, vivid also I is there, and stripes also I is there. We can see I, and I is a vowel. A, E, I, O, U. There are 5 vowels, so I is also a vowel. That is why here the poetic device assonance is used. Hope it is clear to you that wherever there is repetition of a vowel sound in a particular line, so there a poetic device assonance is used. Hope it is clear to you. Next poetic device that I will be telling you, that's called metaphor. Students, metaphor means indirect comparison. Alright, see line number 3. It is written pads of velvet, on pads of velvet quiet. So students, here softness of the tiger's paws is compared to the softness of velvet, that is fabric. So here the poetic device metaphor has been used. Next, students, next poetic device is oxymoron. Students, oxymoron means when you use such an adjective that is opposite in meaning. For example, students, see here line number stanza number 1, line number 4. It is given quiet rage. So here they are opposite in meaning. Students, quiet meaning is silent and rage is extreme anger. So how can these two things be together? Here, whenever you are extremely angry, so you will do something, all right, to satisfy your anger, so that you doesn't be so angry more. But here tiger is helpless. Tiger cannot show his anger because he is confined in a cage. That is why poetic device oxymoron has been used here by the poet. Hope it is clear to you. Now next poetic device is beta consonance. Consonance means repetition of a consonant sound in a particular line. See line number 1, stalks his stripes. Students, here S sound is prominent. Alright, so here consonance is the poetic device that has been used by the poet. Hope it is clear to you. Students, here the next poetic device that the poet has used is onomatopoeia. And onomatopoeia is a poetic device, students, that is used for sound words. You can see this line, snarling around houses. Snarling meaning is, it's a sound word, aggressive growl of the tiger. So here it is a sound word. That is why the poetic device onomatopoeia is used. Alright. Students, the correct pronunciation is onomatopoeia only. Don't pronounce it onomatopoeia. That will be wrong. Next poetic device is alliteration. Students, alliteration means repetitive use of consonant sound at the start of 2 or more words. Alright, see stanza 4, this line, behind bars. Can you see second line? His strength behind bars. His B sound is prominent. Alright students, so here the poetic device is alliteration. Students, next poetic device is imagery. When poet creates a scene in front of the reader, and when poet uses action words in poetry so that you can imagine the scene easily. So here the poetic device imagery has been used. Next poetic device is rhyming scheme. Students, this rhyming scheme is used to create a rhythm in the poetry, to make it lyrical, to make it a musical effect, to give it a musical effect. Alright, and poetic devices are used by the poets to make the poetry more beautiful, more attractive. So students, how we detect programming scheme? Just see this last stanza. See the last words. We have to find out the last word. Night, cards, eyes and stars. Night is not rhyming with cars, so we'll mark it A and another one B. Eyes, it is also not rhyming, we'll mark it C. And when we see stars, stars is rhyming with cars, so we will mark it B. So the rhyming scheme is A, B, C, B, and it is there in the whole poetry. This is the only sequence that has been opted by the poet. Hope this poetry is clear to all of you, the summary is clear to all of you, and the poetic devices is clear to all of you. And if still there is any confusion, any doubts, you can ask me. Thank you very much. Best of luck for your studies.